Welcome to the Masquerade, where I talk about the games we play. Welcome to the Masquerade, it's about time we got the show underway. Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 9 of the Masquerade. I'm your host, Podrick, and this week I'm going to be reviewing The Binding of Isaac, plus the Wrath of the Lamb expansion. I will be talking a bit about the new Grand Theft Auto because it looks awesome and it's Grand Theft Auto, so it's awesome. And as usual, there'll be my weekly shoutout, plus, whatever else comes to mind at the time. I just make half of this stuff up. But first, what do you think of my lovely new intro that was on the start of this video? I mean, a lot of you who follow this channel will already have seen it because I uploaded it to get people's opinions on it, and it was criticized saying that it was too slow and that the reveal was kind of boring, and I accept that. I mean, I drew it on paper literally, and it was stop frame. I mean, this is it. This piece of paper right here is the intro, but it's basic and it's simple, and the bright colors and things I thought reflected the theme song and the ukulele and stuff. And I know I'm not great at ukulele yet because I still haven't had it that long. And I think really that was the very first intro, and I tried to improve it, and the editing software is screwed up, whenever you try and change anything in editing software. And yeah, I tried to kind of re-record the theme song and stuff, and I think it all just kind of fucked up. And yeah, no, so this is going to be just the very first intro, and I'm going to be working on getting back to grips with C4D, and I'm going to make a 3D intro properly, but that'll be further down the line. So for the meantime, this intro that I'm using at the moment, I'm going to be using for a while. And I hopefully everything about this show will be upgrading over time, and so we can all see the upgrades progressively as they happen. It's still early days. Now, let's get started. The Binding of Isaac is an extremely dark roguelike shooter. It's a dungeon crawling style in which you start off top floor, go through different rooms, find items, kill enemies, and go down to the next floor, and you keep on going down until you reach the end boss. However, if you die, you stay dead, which is the true roguelike fashion. And then the whole shooter part is like Smash TV, where it's a top down and you can shoot, up, down, left and right with the free movement and shoot enemies. But your tiers, which is your projectiles, your bullets, change in various, sometimes absolutely massive ways. Other times it might just get faster or stronger or change color. Or you could launch missiles from the sky to blow up enemies, which I was hoping would be enough to get your attention. When I said tiers about your bullets, that's what you actually shoot. You're a little crying naked boy running away from his mother, who is trying to kill him under the orders of God. Well, she hears God. I mean, it's one of these things that it's kind of up to you to decide whether it's really God talking to her, or she's just an absolute nut job who thinks she's hearing the voice of God. And yeah, he basically tells her to kill her son, whose name is Isaac, and take away all his clothes and everything and lock him in his room. And that's why you're naked. And yeah, so basically the whole game is you running away from her while fighting all these really weird looking monsters. It's weird though, because the art style is kind of cute, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, the way everything's drawn, in a weird way, the enemies do look kind of cute. Especially some of the ones that look less disgusting, that are still creatures, but things like Loki. I know that's not a big spoiler, Loki is in the game, and I have to say he does look kind of cute. But, still at the same time everything is trying to kill you. So, you kind of have to take everything with a grain of salt. One thing I noticed, it seems to be kind of with everyone, that at the start, this game is really hard. I mean, obviously if you're really good at games and, you're never going to have an issue with it at the start. But I know, just personally, when I started playing this game, I had so much trouble with it. And I kept on dying and dying and dying, and then there's other people just kind of flying through it, watching videos and stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, I did this grand, and just going on to the very end. It's like, how are you doing all this? And then once you kind of like finish the game once, then the game actually gets longer. But once you finish it once, for some reason it just feels so much easier. And I don't know if that was just me, but as soon as I finished it the first time, after that I was like, oh yeah, and just breezed through it. And now it's very unlikely that I'll kind of die in a playthrough, really, and I can just play through to the very end unless I get completely screwed over, because the whole game is random. Like, every item you find on every floor is all randomized, and so you could have an absolutely fantastic playthrough where, like, you're blasting lasers and shooting flies at everything, or else you could have a crappy one where all you do is piss on the floor. It happens. So, I mean, it's extremely trolly. Seriously, this is probably the most trolly game, because, like, for example, if you get loads of bombs and you have more bombs than you could possibly use in the whole playthrough, then a lot of the time the game will give you as many bombs as it possibly can. And the same applies to hearts or keys or whatever. It's really kind of an asshole of a game in a lot of ways. And so this is pretty much the game's animation right off the bat. I mean, yeah, this is how everything looks. It's all kind of vaguely kind of cute, but also weird. And so Wrath of the Lamb is the expansion, and it adds things such as challenges. I've finished a lot of these already. There's 10 challenges in it, and there's the whole collection of all of the various items you can find in the game. And Wrath of the Lamb added the second page, and as far as I can remember, quite a lot of the first page. Or well, most of it. And as you can see, there's so many question mark items that I haven't found, but then there's all these other things you can get. Most of them are some sort of, kind of strange or disgusting thing that, like, all the foods he has to eat are like dog food and rotten meat and sour milk. It's all kind of weird, and this is how you upgrade yourself in your game. You will find item rooms just like this one, and you just pop in and you'll find something. This item is kind of useless, really, to be honest, but I'll take it anyway. This is the bottle of pills, and then you get a spacebar item, as you can see up here, and you use it, and this one gives you a random pill. And the thing is, pills are random enough in themselves that you don't know what it does until you take it. Like this one gave me some pet flies. Now luckily this floor will actually have a second item room, so I'll be able to demonstrate this again, and I have keys to do so. Okay, I better be careful with these guys first though, because they all explode. They just run at you and they explode just like that and do lots of damage. Well, not that much, because once you get hurt once, then you start flashing and you're immune for like a second. And I'll try this item room again. Okay, this is Guppy's hairball. This one does something else, but I'm going to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what it does, but I'll try it anyway. So now there's actually a little hairball flying around me, and it's just kind of stuck to me. But I'm going to be honest, I don't even know what this does. I'll try and put it into battle to see if it can do anything to me. I think it hurts enemies, but otherwise I got no idea. I mean, it seems to have done a little bit of damage, but I don't really know. However, it's still there. Oh wait, hold on. It's gotten bigger. Does it like eat enemies? I don't know. And that's the fun thing about this game, that I picked up an item and I've got no idea what it does. And I could either, I could look up the wiki, I could Google Guppy's hairball and see what it does. But to be honest, I think that's boring. And so I would rather find out what happens when this thing reaches full size. I think it's more interesting. And who knows, I might continue on and see what this will actually do when it reaches its full size. And then these rooms are where you'll find the bosses. These skull rooms here. This one is Pin. He's pretty easy, to be honest. He just burrows through the ground and, Hey, so my hairball can actually attack if it hit it, so all I have to do is kind of run away or swing it around like that. However, I don't really know what it does. Otherwise, you can just shoot it normally. Maybe it just gets stronger the bigger it gets. Because it does seem to be doing a fair bit of damage. Oops. I accidentally bumped into him that time. It doesn't really seem like the most effective way of hurting an enemy though. Although, it's doing enough. If I can get him to stand still. And hopefully damage himself. I don't know. I don't even know how it gets bigger. Whoop. Nearly done. Like that. And I get a health upgrade. Because you also get items after finishing bosses. However, this is an XL floor, so you actually get 2 consecutive bosses. This is the Widow. It's slightly stronger, and because it's black, it's actually going to be even stronger again. Because different colored enemies are champion types, which are basically more powerful. And each different color, I think, actually does something different. It's not always champion bosses. You can also find champion normal enemies. I think my furball is getting bigger again. Oh. The problem with the furball though is that whenever I try and get close enough to swing around, I actually take damage. Because I'm not that great at this game. Wait, do I get hurt from that black stuff as well? I think I should probably just keep out of everything and not touch anything. Although at least this for hairball, when I'm running away from things, can actually do damage to them. And now there's this little spider here who will, swing around. And I get Squeezy, which gives me 2 grey hearts, and it makes me shoot a little bit faster. But first I'll try this pill. Okay, and that one actually just dropped my life again. So I'm now back down to 3 hearts. So that food I got in the last room actually did nothing for me. And then to go on to the next area, you jump down the trapdoor. And Isaac has nightmares of whatever. He's like, oh no, I have no toilet paper. Oh, woe is me. It's all sad stuff. Hey, another labyrinth. Well, I don't usually get 2 in a row. There is a challenge that actually gives you just only labyrinths, but this isn't it. And, well, I got stuck up against an ultra boss, and I tried killing it with Guppy's hairball, and I died. Because ultra bosses are quite rare, but they're also very powerful. Especially when you're not well enough armed like I wasn't. So I died. Because I only had 3 hearts. Dear diary, today I died. I was killed by this thing in some cave. Ugly. I leave all that I own to my cat Guppy. So I got the hairball, I got the food, I got the squeezy, and I got the pill box. Or the medicine bottle or whatever. Cool stuff right here. Goodbye, cruel world. Hugs and kisses, Isaac. And yeah, that's what happens. And so you can either restart and go back to just the start of the game and try a whole different layout, or you can return to the main menu like so. And yeah, there's stats. There's like the amount of secrets you found, how many times you died, how many times you killed mom, and the amount of items you picked up, plus all the different endings, of which there is many more. And yeah, and there's all the, or you can also actually see the secrets. Yeah, so there's lots of different things you can get. Ta-da! So, yeah. There's so much of this game that I haven't even started touching on it, to be honest. And it's so much I haven't even seen yet. So, someday I probably will try and 100% this game, but it'll definitely take me a long time. And you know the deal by now, but there will be a link to that game going right down here in the description. I mean, there will be a link to the Binding of Isaac Steam page, but it will also have, I will also include the link to the Wrath of the Lamb expansion, because the Binding of Isaac is just a basic game, and then they released this expansion pack called the Wrath of the Lamb, which really extends the game a lot. To be honest, I didn't even know the extent of it, because I didn't actually play the basic Binding of Isaac. When I got it, I got both of them, with that including the expansion. So I don't even know how, I don't know what really was added to it. I know some things, but not how the game really feels or plays, or many of the items that are new or not new. But either way, I'm going to include the link to both of those, and I seriously suggest you will I seriously suggest you buy it, because it eats up so much of your time. I mean, a good playthrough could last an hour just from start to finish, but it is so much fun. And yes, it will be a kind of a rage game. Sometimes it does just annoy you to no extent, and it's just like, oh, why did you do that to me? But it is still absolutely brilliant, and it's definitely, without a doubt, my most played game on Steam. I mean, I have clocked up a stupid amount of hours in this game. Seriously. I mean, look. I'm going to have a picture here, hopefully, so that's what I'm pointing at. And actually, on a further Binding of Isaac note, there's no release date on it yet, but hopefully it'll be finished by the end of the year. But they're going to be making... It's not a sequel, kind of, I suppose, but it's also not even a remake. I suppose it's an upgrade, is the best way I can describe it. Because there's going to be adding loads of new content, probably like doubling the amount of content in it. They're going to be upgrading from the Flash engine, because it's run on Flash, which, as you know, is very limited and runs kind of slowly sometimes. And so it runs on Flash at the moment, but they're going to upgrade it to just a whole completely new engine, which will just completely blow the limits off it. And so there'll be more bullets on screen, more enemies, more everything. And yeah, but it's called... Sorry, what's it called again? I have it written down somewhere. Oh yeah, sorry. Why am I looking at my notebook? I have it on my iPad. For a change, I'm upgrading to the future of technology here. The Binding of Isaac Rebirth. Sorry, I totally drew a blank there. It's early for me. Yeah, and they're going to be upgrading it. Although the graphics are actually going to be worse. It's going to be kind of 16-bit as opposed to this kind of cartoony drawn style. However, everything else is going to be so much better. New items, better items, more levels, more enemies, more rooms, more characters, more literally everything. And it's going to be fantastic. I mean, I just got the Wikia page here and open, and there's just so much stuff that's going to be added. Because I mean, the Binding of Isaac is very full of bugs. Some of them are kind of fun things that kind of make it more interesting. Some of them are just little ones that don't make any difference whatsoever, but you just might notice it. And other ones can kind of ruin it sometimes. But this one is going to have so many less bugs, and it'll be really clean. Not in a bad way though. You know, some games are kind of really crisp, and this just like kind of ruins it because they're too perfect. You know, that's why I like Skyrim, because the amount of stupid random shit that happens, and that's what makes it more amusing for me, as opposed to a game that always works exactly perfectly. You know, obviously you don't want a bug that breaks the game, but still. I'm getting totally sidetracked now, by the way. I really apologize. But all this stuff is like, this is an absolute shitload. I really cannot understate that. Oh yeah, one of the big things really that I think will be cool is local 2-player co-op. So you'll actually be able to play The Binding of Isaac with someone who's with you, which is going to be really cool. Because, you know, it's grand. I mean, it's grand playing it on your own, but I can imagine 2-player would be a lot of fun. Also, and it's the same with this Binding of Isaac game, that, you know, there's all the kind of technical stuff, and there's all the items, and you can see what items you haven't found. And, you know, the Wikia page now is just full of everything, because everyone just posts into it. So, like, if you're unsure about an item, you can either figure it out yourself, or you can just look at the Wikia page. To be honest, I'd rather figure it out myself. And sure, even Edmund Macmillan himself was talking about how, you know, it kind of defeats the purpose of finding everything out on your own is by looking at the Wikia. So he's trying to include things that are so well hidden that they're not, you know, you might find something and think, oh, this is really cool and weird and random. And you go onto the Wikia page just to find out what the hell just happened, and there's nothing there. That this is an undocumented secret that you just found. And I think that's what he wants. He wants to have things that will happen and you will still have no idea what the hell happened because there's no information on the internet. And then obviously once the first person finds it, they can be like, hey, I found this thing, and instantly type it in. So if anyone else finds it, then they can find out what happened. Which is boring for anyone who didn't find it first. But still, I think that's... I really like that. Because, you know, sometimes there's nothing... You just have to look at a walkthrough to help you out. But I think in a game like this, really, it's just more fun to just you pick up an item, and instead of looking up what it does, just use it and see what happens, which is way better. I got really sidetracked, but yeah, the Binding of Isaac Rebirth is hopefully coming out. Well, it'll probably come out like at some point next year, to be honest, in 2014, if it's going to be finished around the end of this year. But I cannot wait for that game. It's going to be amazing. So, Grand Theft Auto 5. Wow. I mean, I saw the trailer in a game shop there the other day, but I was kind of half watching it, there's a TV behind the counter, and I was like, oh yeah, this is kind of cool. But I finally watched the trailer properly last night, and holy crap, it looks amazing. The thing I love about Grand Theft Auto games is that there's such a big gap between they bring out each one. It's not like they're just releasing, just constantly spamming them. It's like, oh, you love Grand Theft Auto 4 so much, here's Grand Theft Auto 5 a year later. Oh, here's Grand Theft Auto 6 half a year later. It's like they take so much time between each one that it gives you enough time to kind of enjoy Grand Theft Auto 4 to the fullest, and to kind of do everything with it, and play with all the mods and all that. And then you're like, okay, we think you've had enough of Grand Theft Auto 4 now, let's have a new one. And they bring it out, and it's just so much better. Especially now, Grand Theft Auto 4 looks great, but it looks average nowadays. By today's standards, it has kind of got a bit dated. But even now, looking at Grand Theft Auto 5, and especially with the country shots, because there's all like countryside in this one again, and like plains and all that stuff, kind of like San Andreas. And the only game I keep equating it to when I look at it is Just Cause 2. Because in my opinion, Just Cause 2 is the nicest looking next gen game ever. When I say next gen, I mean like PS3, Xbox. And it looks incredible. And then looking at these shots of Grand Theft Auto 5, like with the plane and the parachute, and even just the stream and the water, and it all just looks wow. And I think I'm even just by looking at how the graphics look in this game, I am excited. Let alone the characters in it, and just are absolutely hilarious. And I love the way that there's like kind of three guys and it follows three separate stories as opposed to just the usual one main character. And there's like I can't even say this in small measures. This game is going to be fucking incredible. Like all Grand Theft Autos were. I don't think I've ever met someone who isn't a fan of Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, there's drugs and swearing and nudity and violence and all that. And so people are against that, yes. But just as someone who is a fan of games and doesn't care about all that, who's seen Grand Theft Auto and the story and all that, and you're just thinking, no, that's shit. It's just not. It's Grand Theft Auto, really. Rockstar have always just hit the nail on the head every single time with these games. And I know San Andreas was to be honest, really good. And they kind of screwed up the whole RPG bits. It was like, you go swimming and you find oysters and then you can breathe for longer underwater. Or you have to go work out. Or you have to go eat, because otherwise you'll get skinny. That kind of stuff, I'll be honest, was kind of stupid. I like the way you can kind of work out and then kind of get new skills and stuff. That was kind of cool. But everything else, it was kind of interesting. Like, you get really fat and stuff, but I just didn't really like it. But I think they've gone beyond that stage, and they kind of realized that not everyone did take up to it so easily. And after that, they improved again, and they just keep getting better. And I know they have new competitors, things like Saints Row and Sleeping Dogs and all this. I know they're not exactly new, but I think really, even if you just compare Grand Theft Auto to Saints Row, because they are similar in ways, but I think Saints Row really just kind of has its own appeal of just being stupid. Not in a bad way, just stupidly over the top. Just like kind of beating people up with giant dildos and, flying around in jets and all this shit. I know jets are in Grand Theft Auto 2, but this is different. This is just kind of crazy, over the top kind of comic book style, I suppose, really is the best way I can describe it. And then Grand Theft Auto is still like really funny and kind of over the top as well, but it's still in a more realistic way, and it's more gripping, I think. you know, if you both of them just have mindless violence and you can just run around shooting people and running people over and blowing up everything, and both of them have that appeal. But it all just depends on how you want to do it. You know, if what kind of cars you want, or if you want to customize your person and all that. I think they both really, if you're going to like one, you're going to like the other. But there's really no clear competition. That, in my opinion anyway, Grand Theft Auto is still the better game. It's just more timeless, really. Now, as much as I'd love to show you footage, but I don't have any, I know stuff on the internet already, and also I could show you the trailer, but I don't know if I can do that. So I'm not even going to risk it, because otherwise, you know, I'll probably get like, oh, this video has been removed from copyright from Rockstar Games or whatever. And yeah, I don't want to get like, you know, my fucking videos removed for uploading stuff. I mean, I will happily post the link in the description to the official trailer, but then it's not going to post it on this video in case I get slapped with a video removal from some copyright claim. I don't know if it happens. I mean, I've never tried, but I'll be honest, I don't want to try either. So, we'll just leave it at that. But I know for a fact that it's a game I'm definitely going to be getting when it comes out. It is coming out in September. I can't remember the exact date. For some reason, I think it involves a 6. And I know I have the iPad. I could just check. I could just Google it right here live. Fine, I'll check it. GTA 5 release date. Oh, there we go. Google actually searched it for me. Huh? Oh, yeah, okay, 17th. Okay. 17th of September. Which is pretty close, really. I mean, it's a few months away, but yeah, I cannot wait. I still have to pre-order it. There's too many games I need to pre-order at the end of this month, or at the end of this year even, because Pokemon's coming out in October and Grand Theft Auto 5 is coming out in September, and I have to pre-order them all because I want them all. Oh. Still though, they're all going to be awesome. Unfortunately, this week's break will actually have to be a little bit shorter because I'm actually running short of space on my computer, so it'll start going slow after a while, so I might actually have to kind of start tidying it up soon enough. I was wondering why it was going slow last night because nothing was running in the background, but it's actually that the hard drive was getting so full that the computer was struggling to run itself, which is why I need to buy a new computer to make these recordings actually work. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to just skip right ahead now and keep on pushing through till the very end, which I suppose is no harm in considering how distracted I got already. And this week's weekly shoutout goes to Kyrgyzstan87, who is actually relatively new to even me. Usually I kind of know the person who I give a shout out to, but I sent out a request on Twitter, and my good friend Slater, who's my expert on, well, everyone on YouTube who wants coverage, sent me in the direction of Kyrgyzstan, and he was saying that he really deserves a shout out, and yes, he does. I can totally get behind that, because he puts so much effort into making even just a short video, more so than even really you should have to, but it's just that he records things on his iPhone, or else he like uploads short clips from Black Ops onto YouTube, and then he downloads them from YouTube onto his iPhone, and then he deletes them off YouTube, and he like edits them together, and he does that a few times. It all seems like a total pain in the ass, to be honest. And so yeah, I mean, it's a lot of effort even just to make any video, like, so I really respect him for that. He does mainly Call of Duty videos, both multiplayer and zombies, and he like, it's mainly Xbox, in fact only Xbox I think, and he also has like Minecraft videos. And yeah, it's one thing as well is why they don't like let you upload enough to actually catch, instead of just, you know, a 2-minute clip. It's kind of stupid, but he works around it, and he does it well. I mean, everything's recorded on, most of the stuff is recorded on his iPhone, so the quality isn't the best, but he's waiting before he gets really big in order to actually buy some recording software or capture card. But yeah, I've briefly spoken to him, just little bits on Twitter, really. But and even just on the videos, he does seem like he seems like a genuinely nice guy, and just because he does Call of Duty videos as well, and he's Scottish, I just keep on thinking of who is the man's name? I think it was in Modern Warfare 2. Wasn't it like was it McTavish or something? The Scottish guy. And I know it's a fierce generalization, but that's who I think of, especially with the Call of Duty videos. And it's just like Captain McTavish. I was going to do a Scottish accent there, but I had to stop myself because it was going to sound really stupid and probably offensive. But yeah, I'm going to give a link to his Twitter and his YouTube in the description. And please, 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 please check him out. He's not one of these guys who's like, oh yeah, more views. Even though his channel is actually bigger than this one. But I still want to help. And, I really hope this channel gets big just so my shoutouts will have a real impact and it'll send loads of people over there. But until then, I'm going to do whatever little bits I can because, as far as I'm concerned, it all helps. And just, please, just check out his channel, His videos are short. They're easy to watch. I mean, if you like his stuff, subscribe, follow him. Just, you know what to do with YouTube. You're all intelligent people. You managed to get to this video, But please, check him out at the very least. And that is the end of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like it and subscribe to me if you haven't already and share it and, everything you want to do. And, I hope you enjoy what little bits of upgrades I did this time. The intro, tiny little bits of editing that I tried to throw in. And, I will probably see you again next time. I'll be uploading the extras video at some point during the week, as I always do. And I'm kind of half thinking about starting another gaming series because I miss recording games and uploading them onto YouTube. But I don't quite know what I'm going to upload yet or if I'm actually going to get around to it. But I would kind of like to. But that's irrelevant. That's just another thing that may or may not happen. But either way, thanks for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it and I will see all you guys next time.